So even when you write for the films. So tell me, as a writer, how do you really understand the point of view of a woman? How have you been able to achieve it so successfully?
Well, I was born on the International Women's Day, so...
Okay.
But in fact, I mean, there's one book of mine, The Age of Desire, which is written entirely in first person from a woman's point of view. That's the story of a rape victim who decides to fight back, and in an unexpected twist, she goes on to become a top leader of the country. It's loosely, it loosely has the idea of Mahabharata woven into it. And when I started writing it, I was not sure whether I would be able to pull it off, because it's entirely, I mean, when you write in first person in the voice of a woman who's been raped, to bring out those feelings, to bring out what she goes post that, and the unexpected twist which happens in her life, which has her catapulted to being a top leader in the country. I think all that was very difficult to portray in first person from that woman's point of view. But then I think it just happens when you get absorbed into a character, when you start living that character for some time, it just happens. And I've just been very realistic about my characters, whether it's men or women. Like I said, I consciously try to.
Do you kind of bounce it off to the women readers and just to sort of understand that you've.
No, in fact, most of my books, nobody reads my. I mean, I'm very possessive about them, so nobody reads it till it gets published. That's been the case most of the times.
Okay.
I
think we started a session late, and he says that we just have very little time. So before we open for the questions, I have one last thing to ask you. I had a lot of questions to ask, but then about this very interesting initiative of yours called Visal, which you're doing for the Jharkhand and Bihar Reliance 92.7 television, the radio broadcast. Can you tell us about more?
I'll also play out a certain promo which will help readers understand it better. But before that, I'll just explain. Well, I have this restlessness where every 2 years I'd like to reinvent myself and do something. That's how I've written 7 different books which are mostly very different from each other. In the last year or two, I've been meaning to do something more for the society. And since I've been associated with this company, Reliance Broadcast, which owns Big FM and Big Magic, the television channel, and the radio channel Big FM, the CEO Tarun Gatyal and I, we were just having a discussion about a year back, and we came across. He's aware of my interest in politics and societal issues, and we just chanced upon this idea where I could do a social empowerment series. They have a regional channel which is doing very well in Bihar, Jharkhand and Purvanchal, called Big Magic Ganga. So basically the show was conceived as a television series, somewhere on the lines of Satyameva Jayate, where I provide unsung heroes from that particular region, and it could expand to the national level also subsequently. Like, let's suppose somebody who's electrified his village via solar energy, or somebody who's brought in water into his village and invented some unusual irrigation techniques in his village. So that is the idea of profiling unsung heroes, people who contributed to the society but not got their dues. But at the same time, the idea was to also extrapolate and talk about the issue at large. For example, water shortage in certain parts of the country is still a humongous issue. Energy deficit is still a big issue. So the idea was to, from the unsung hero, provide him or her and get into the issue at large. So I just play out one of the radio promos. The show is already on air on Big FM, Jamshedpur and Ranchi, and there are 4 other radio stations which are coming up in that region shortly: Patna, Muzaffarpur, Gorakhpur and Banaras in the next 2 months. And hopefully in the next few months it will be on across all 70 stations of 92.7 radio. So I'll just play that out. There are men who want to edges who want to give women the importance that they want, but at the same time, like I said, it depends upon the individual woman also. Women who, like it depends upon many a times there is a disparity between what you can do individually and what you think you can do. And women who can manage both worlds well have been doing it very well. And there are men who have actually given them the due that they deserve and they rightly.
Yeah, so we have any more questions?
Yeah.
So, please.
I've read, as you know, almost all your books. I'm sorry I haven't read this one as yet, but that will be right in the next 2-3 days. And I've loved all of them, as you know again. And what I really find good about your books is that there's a great balance between your language, the structure of the language, and the story. And very few authors are able to achieve that, so that it's a seamless read from end to end.
Thank you.
And I love that. I love getting involved in the story and reading it through, very well written. I want to ask you, which one is your favorite book? And I totally agree with Kulpreet when he said that when you get into the skin of a woman, you totally are able to do that, because particularly in The Edge of Power, The Edge of Desire, both of them, I mean, you can't imagine that a woman is not writing what you've written. So which book is your favorite?
It's The Edge of Desire for that precise reason.
Edge of Desire?
Because that kind of mixed up a lot of things, the basic idea of Mahabharata, where, if you ask me the basic idea of Mahabharata, it was, can a woman's humiliation alter the destiny of a nation? It did in the Mahabharata, and that's what happened in The Edge of Desire. Then there was a beautiful relationship, mentor-prodigy relationship between Sharad Malviya, the politician, and this woman, which had some elements of a Krishna-Draupadi relationship. And obviously, as in two of my other novels, there was a generous amount of social events happening around it and the take of these characters. So it was tough to mix up all these things from a woman's point of view. But I think that's why The Edge of Desire is my favorite book.
You have been selected as one of the 11 authors for Times of India's Write India program. So tell us a bit about that. What do you feel about being part of Write India?
Well, it's a great honor and it's a great initiative. Because the whole idea of grooming 11 new authors and them being groomed by people who've been around, who've done the job, I think it's a very novel idea, and the credit goes to the initiator, Vinita Mangan. And my month is starting 7th December. I mean, I'll be giving a paragraph and people would, the contestants would have to create a story around it. So I look forward to your participation in that.
So, does everybody know about the Write India program?
Yeah.
Yes. Or is there anyone who doesn't know? Okay, I like the Write India program for two reasons. One, as a novelist myself, and since I'm not a trained novelist, not someone who studied creative writing, this is a fantastic platform because you're making the people, the aspiring writers, first write a short story and then go to the novel stage, which is actually the ideal way of grooming, as he says. That is something which is really good. Second thing is that you are really encouraging unpublished writers. So we've got a lot of published, semi-published, self-published writers. So there's someone who's looking for some unpublished writer and bringing them to a platform of that level. So that becomes a case study and kind of encouragement for a lot of other aspiring writers. So I think the whole fabric of storytelling at a national level, I personally feel that this is one of the most outstanding initiatives, and I hope other people replicate in some way so that it helps everyone.
I'd just like to add, Vinita, which you read it?
I've read, I'm basically halfway through.
Okay, any questions?
Well, no, I mean, I and Kiran were having a chat about it because,
Kiran has read it.
yes, Kiran has read it, and someone else also, I mean, in fact, Kulpreet and I had a chat about the book as well, very quickly. So I was thinking I'll write a review of that very soon. Because I've yet to sort of reach the state where, I understand the book fully. But of course, it's an interesting, and especially, I've read your earlier books, so I was very keen to read something which you've gone back to after a very long time.
Great.
Are you done? Are you open to questions? Or
No, we just, I mean, since you asked, so we just.
Well, not in the book, but something else that you just said, that consumerism has affected relationships more than anything else. I want to know more about that.
Well, if you have to take that in the context of, in a larger context, the way gender equations have changed in the last 20-25 years. Like today, you would find a good number of couples where the man thinks the wife is selfish, the wife thinks the husband is selfish. Now, who decides who's selfish? I think both of them are selfish. Because both of them are very particular, both of them are very unrelenting in the number of things they want out of a certain relationship. And they're not very sure whether they are giving, they're equally giving. They're never too sure about that. So I think this is where that whole thing comes across when I talk about consumerism. Consumerism largely makes you more selfish and unrelenting about your needs rather than taking a holistic view of the family. Which is what the situation I end up seeing in most of the couples, whether they're married or whether they're not married.